Hey everybody, this is Rudy Sarzer from Quiet Riot, and you're listening to Tom and Zeus on the Shout It Out Loud cast.
Shout it out loud, yeah. Shout it out loud, yeah. Shout it out loud, yeah. I like it.
The year is 1968. The album is the NBC TV Special Live, and the artist goes without mention, but it's the king of rock, Elvis Presley. Yes, welcome to episode 62, where we talk about this incredibly influential and legendary album picked by Zeus. Shortly, we'll be joined by the great Ryan Spencer Cook of the Gene Simmons and Ace Frehley Bands and much more. But for now, Zeus, this is all about you this month.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out how I can get an Elvis album on. And I'm like, I think this is the closest that we can do that would kind of make it to our type of albums that we put on here. So I'm so excited to get Ryan on and talk about this. But before we do that, we got to look back to last month's episode, and we did High and Dry, and look to the feedback on that, starting with the poll.
Yep. So again, we had the great Steve Brown from Trickster doing High and Dry by Def Leppard, and the poll was, favorite of these four songs, Bring It on the Heartbreak, Let It Go, High and Dry Saturday Night, or You Got Me Running. 42% picked Let It Go. 29% picked Bring It on the Heartbreak, 18% picked High and Dry, the title track, and 10% picked You Got Me Running. Greg Seacrest says, I voted for Let It Go out of these four, but Mirror Mirror is my favorite on the album. The Tragically Pissed, that's an interesting one.
Okay.
Picked Lady Strange. Okay. John Gross, Let It Go, what an opening statement. Our buddy Todd Harrig says, Bringin' brought it then and now. The great Nige Savage, such a great album, a rare example of an album where, for me, side 2 is better than side 1. Pyromania is even better still, and you are 100% correct that the seeds of what was to come were definitely sown right here. Rest in peace, Steve Clark, what a huge and largely underrated talent. Coach Green goes with Let It Go. Our buddy Steve says, one of my absolute favorite Def Leppard songs, always has been, but he just picks pretty much everything here. He doesn't really have one to pick from. He just likes the album. Yeah, we got some great feedback. Having Steve on was incredible. Let's look at some of that. Steve has always given us his rankings. We love to see that. He says, interesting fact, by 1983, Def Leppard had played more shows in the U.S. than they had ever played in the U.K. to this date. Interesting. Gerard Angelo says, great episode. Like Steve, I was on board from On Through the Night. I did, however, drop off the Def Leppard wagon as they got more poppy, but come to appreciate that time. I always felt Pete Willis gave them the harder edge on this record. That's a good point. Could be. MJ says High and Dry is their best album, no questions at all. And that's what we got a little bit of Twitter this month from Def Leppard.
All right. On the Book of Face, there's a ton of feedback here. Not surprised, Def Leppard. This is a very accessible album. The great Anthony Barone of ABCPA Inc., Hall of Famer. Thanks, Tom. Another record off my potential ARC picks. Such a great record. Ken Keenan says, best Def Leppard album, hands down. Kevin Jepson. Oh, God.
Giggity, 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 giggity.
Fuck yes.
Oh, boy.
Easily my favorite record from them. Love that you guys had Steve on with you because I love the music guitar talk. This has to be one of the hardest ranking for tracks of any record you guys have done. Mirror Mirror would have been my number one. And man, Switch 625 is one of the greatest instrumentals ever. This is a top 10 record for me. Love this one, fuckos. And Zeus had the best famous last words of any episodes. I think I did the
You did the switch too fast. You did. Yep.
BC Allison, great episode, guys. I've been on the hunt for a vinyl copy of High and Dry. Might have to step my search now since you sparked my re-interest in it. Really enjoyed Steve's perspective, not only as a producer, but as an artist. Way cool. This is why we have the third man in. We want sometimes podcasters, just a fucking listener or an artist or a musician, bring different perspectives to what we're hearing. And Steve's was very unique with this review. So we got a lot of good feedback that people really enjoyed what he talked about. Man, he played with these guys, so he knows.
It's pretty rare that the third man in is somebody who played with the band that we're reviewing. Yeah. So that was awesome.
Lee Graham says, great episode, guys. Some truly insightful commentary from all three of you. As for the album, what can I say? Among the greatest hard rock albums of all time. Read about Def Leppard and Kerrang! Even before On Through Night was released, and bought the album, dropped the needle, and rocked out. My favorite of only 3 Leppard albums. And in other words, he doesn't believe in the other ones.
No. Not many people do.
Yeah, that's okay. And let's go over to Loudcasters. Hall of Famer Gary Capp. Their best album by far. James Beasley. Holy fuck. I forgot how much of a banger On Through the Night is. Also love No, No, No. Wow. Those are 2 of the biggest deep cuts on the album he's praising. But
wow. No, No, No.
Awesome album. Awesome show. Would like to thank Zeus for frequently bringing up James Burton and Elvis throughout the years. Keep it on. Keep on keeping on. Oh, you're going to like this episode, my friend.
Good timing.
Yes. Kevin Doyen says, my older brother bought it when it hit the shelves. I heard the opening rip of Let It Go. I was hooked. I am a Pete Willis Def Leppard fan.
All right. Me too. Little Petey Willis.
Little heavy male. Jeff Trott.
Guess who's back in the motherfucking house with a fat dick for your motherfucking mouth?
Hall of Famer. Fantastic album. Nice rebound from the cult. I might have missed it.
Stop.
But no one mentioned You Got Me Running is the King of the Nighttime World intro. It is?
Actually, it is. Yes, go listen to it. It's a great point, Jeff.
Ray Gallus. Mediocre album. Manufactured rock with a singer, in quotes, with a very, very limited range and 0 calorie. Iron Maiden light guitar work. Def Leppard is the boy band of rock. If not for MTV, they would never have survived. Yikes!
Yeah, I tore into him, and then I remember that I apologized because it wasn't who I thought it was, but that take is still absolutely shocking and horrendous.
Yeah.
It's shocking and horrendous.
No. I think you were thinking of somebody else's big name begins with an R, but that's okay.
Yeah, I was. And I apologized because I attacked him pretty violently, as I'm known to do.
You beat him very viciously.
Exactly. Did some very vicious things.
Yeah, it was very hurtful. Over on YouTube, Vinny Rigosu, 1685. Great episode. Started listening to you guys last year at school and now at work. Make the days go by fast. It would be awesome to have Steve on again for a Van Halen album. It's definitely in the cards. You never know.
Yep.
R.K. Chang, 77. Steve was definitely a great addition to this review. Hearing him sing different parts demonstrate why he has been their backup guy over the years. And being a guitarist myself, it's great to hear him talk about the chord structure that stretch across the songs. I enjoyed it for you people because I have no idea what he was talking to. And many times over the episode, I put my hand over my head going, he's talking over my head. I have no idea what he's saying. But anyway, then there's somebody that is M&M. Def Leppard ceased to exist after Pyromania. There is no room for discussion. As he says this on a discussion forum, Tom.
There's no room for discussion.
But
what is he? What is he? Poppy? He's Poppy from Seinfeld. And with this, there could be no discussion.
Yeah.
Poppy.
Someone wrote back to him named Howard White 1507. Bitch if they change, biff shit if they stay the same. Anyways, Tom, that's what I got.
All right, let's look at a couple things on Instagram here. The problem with Instagram is it's all one. Like, so I can't tell if this is all aired music or all or whatever. Great album, holds a special place in my heart because the very first thing I ever did professionally as a musician was recording guitars for a cover of Lady Strange. It was my first stepping stone into my career as a musician. So I think that's Allard Music. Sorry about that.
Is that Pete Willis that wrote that?
It's Pete. It's Pete Willis from the grave on his Instagram account. Dave Rockstar says this album has "Bring It On the Heartbreak," which is one of my favorite Def Leppard songs. Always loved that Steve Clark guitar solo on it too. Yes, very true. Then we got a lot of people who just like to comment with fire emojis, which is fine. Our buddy Joe Decker, love this album. I remember learning Mirror Mirror on guitar and thinking I was a god. This is my favorite album of the discography, right in front of Pyromania, which I also love but feel it's overproduced. This album is so raw, just kick-ass riffs and great vocals, a near-desert island for me. Roy Jerome, 98. Man, I did a deep dive into their catalog after seeing them this summer. What a show, and they still sound great. They played Switch 625, which was a pleasant surprise. Yeah, I saw them last summer, too, at Fenway Park, and they did the same thing. They played Switch 25. It was awesome. A follow-up comment from Joe Decker. I just heard their new cover of Stand By Me. Freaking brutal. How did this band go from a kick-ass song like Let It Go to Two Steps Behind? Joe, 100%. Their cover of Stand By Me is a fucking tragic nightmare. I don't know what possessed them to do that. And you're so right. You Let It Go to Two Steps Behind. I mean, Kiss fans could say the same thing. It's like, how did this band go from fucking Black Diamond to Shandy? So it's kind of the same thing, right, Zeus?
Thank
All right, couple emails here. Actually, we got one good email here from Eric Schwenk. What makes me rock hard? A High and Dry album review. I saw Def Leppard on the X Tour, and they opened the show playing side 1 of High and Dry, uninterrupted. Best Leppard show I've ever seen. And the analysis of side 2 was spot on. Those songs are a mix of the new wave of British heavy metal roots while previewing what was to come on Pyromania. Of the albums you have reviewed, this is a top 10 album for me, but this was your best review episode. Strong work. Wow. Well, thank you for that. That's High and Dry feedback this month.
Yeah, I think Steve really gave a unique perspective on the album, and it really helped it.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, Tom, let's take a quick little break, and we'll be right back to bring in the great Ryan Spencer Cook.
All right, so joining us for the first time on ARC, but he is a return guest for Shout It Out Loudcast. You love him because he plays with Gene Simmons. He plays with the Rock City Machine Company. And right now he is touring with the spaceman himself, Ace Frehley. Let's welcome back to the show, first time on ARC, the great Ryan Spencer Cook. What's up, buddy?
Hello. I hope I can live up to that introduction. Thank you so much.
That is your introduction. You don't have anything to live up to, brother. That's you.
Thank you, guys. I'm happy to see you.
Awesome.
Hey,
Happy
Ryan,
to
great to see you again. I just left you last week. Where the fuck you been?
You know what he said to me? We were walking
Please tell us.
We were walking off stage Friday night, and we always do a bow together.
Yeah.
And then he always gives me a hug, and says, hey. And he always says something. Last night we were walking off stage, or Friday night, he goes, your hair looks good.
I could totally picture him just trying. He's the best, man.
Like, thanks, buddy.
Man. So we finally added like drops, like sound clip drops. And I've been scouring shit for like Paul drops, but the Ace drops are the fan. I'll just drop them randomly. I won't do it in this episode because it'll throw you off. But he's got some great quotes.
Oh, I know. It's good stuff.
The gift that keeps on giving, the great Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley.
That's it.
Well, I scoured Elvis's social medias, and I'm like, it was my pick for the ARC pick, and I'm like, who can I get that likes Elvis and everything like that? So I looked, and I'm like, okay, this guy likes Elvis on Instagram. He follows him on Twitter. And when I saw your name, I am like, fucking perfect. I'm like, I got to get Ryan for this episode. He is the epitome. Like when I think of rock and roll and Elvis and Memphis and gospel, rhythm and blues, old school rock, I'm like, Ryan would be perfect. Let me ask him. And I'm like, do you know this? And you're like, fuck yeah. I was like, oh, would you please come on for this? So we are honored to have you. And what we usually do, Ryan, is we just give a first start off with, we're going to talk about how we got into this album and in the 68 comeback special. And you remember getting the album or watching it live. Why don't you lead us off on this one?
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Elvis was always near and dear in the heart of everybody in my family, mom, dad, sister. And, you know, obviously this particular record, the 68 comeback special and TV show, was out before I was even born. I wasn't born until December 69. So it had been out for a minute. So Elvis was always on in our home. There was always an Elvis LP playing. I remember seeing him do the comeback special on TV before I actually remember hearing the record itself, because I had that image of him in the black leather suit tied in with that whole performance.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yep. And so that, honestly, man, I think it was just one of those many times that they replayed it. And I was at home with my parents in Topeka, Kansas, very young. And there was Elvis in that black leather suit on TV. And I got to tell you, it was almost like when I saw Kiss the first time, just the visual of that laid such a heavy impression on me.
Yeah.
Of what I thought. I'm like, well, that's what cool is. Mm-hmm. That's what cool is, you know. And then as the years would go by, I was a sponge. We had, like I said, we had every Elvis record in the house. My mom and my sister went to see Elvis.
Oh,
in Kansas City. Yeah. If you have a second, I'll tell you real quick what happened.
Please.
It was 3 months before he died at Kemp Arena in Kansas City. And it was a Saturday, and I was real little, 7 years old. And, you know, the day the show was there, my mom said, hey, your sister and I are going to go to the Ice Capades tonight. Do you want to go? I was like, fuck no, I don't want to go. No. So, and Dad's like, well, I'll take him to a movie. So we get to the movie and we're walking into the theater. We run into my aunt and uncle, my mom's sister. Mm-hmm. And she goes, and she's right. Well, what are you guys doing here? Looked at her, I go, well, we came to the movies because Mom and Lisa went to the Ice Capades. They go, they did not. They're at Elvis.
Oh, no.
That's awesome.
Like, what?
Oh, no.
And they only got 2 tickets.
That's why.
Man.
And those, they thought that they would go see it. And then, dude, I cried.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Damn it, man.
Imagine if you had that in your memory. Hey, I got to see him play at least, right?
I know.
It's like seeing Kiss at one point.
They did come home with the tour program, and I still have it.
That's a nice collector's item.
Yeah, I still have it.
That's
amazing. That's awesome.
But anyway, so but going back to 68, I don't know I diverted, but he was just always on in my home, so I can't give you like a real hard and fast, it was this day or this date.
Yeah.
But it was just, as far back as I can remember, that's what I remember first about Elvis was the 68 comeback.
Yep.
Tom.
Yeah. So for me, I talk about this a lot. I grew up with music constantly out of my house, primarily jazz, big band, swing, that kind of stuff. But my dad also loved everything. I mean, he kind of like me, liked everything. Yeah. And Elvis was always in our house. My dad loved Elvis. My dad, if I had a picture here, and I'm not just saying this because he was my dad. When my dad was in high school, probably 18 to 22 years old, he literally looked like Elvis.
Everybody tried to.
He had the face. Awesome. He had the facial, that kind of chiseled face, and like But anyways,
that's awesome.
So I obviously I was born in 73, so I didn't see this, but I've seen parts of it. I've seen clips of it. There's a brand new documentary. It just came out last year, and it's kind of like a behind the scenes of the making of the 68 comeback special.
Return of the King.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And like you said, Ryan, the visuals of this, you know, there's a vinyl out there that I have. It's Elvis King in the Ring, and it's him sitting in that circle, and then you got Elvis in the white suit, and then it's so iconic. And the music, the medleys, the charisma, the power, the superstardom. I mean, it's an absolute snapshot in pop culture that even if you're not an Elvis fan, you know it and you probably love it. So I don't have like you, I don't have an exact moment of seeing it, but it's kind of always been in my consciousness as a music fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to nail down stuff like that when it was released.
Oh,
before
absolutely.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Elvis to me was always kind of around. My parents are Greek, but they grew up in Greece. And even just this weekend, I was playing this just to get familiar with the album again in the car. My mom gets in the car as I take her out to lunch, kind of like when we were talking about off the air. She's close to that age too. And I lost my dad over last year. So I want to bring her out. And we had bad snowstorms here in Boston, very icy. She was kind of stuck inside. So I bring her out. Yeah. And she's hearing it in the background. She's like, oh, Elvis Presley, in her Greek accent. She's like, when his movies would come out in like Greece, she's like, all us little girls would run to the movie theater to see an Elvis movie. It was like the big thing to see. And that's kind of like, it's a whole different detour we could tell about his acting career and what it did. But that made him a global star.
Absolutely.
And it got all the way to Greece. And like people don't realize, I know people shit on his movies. He was the highest paid actor at one point for a while because they could pay him and pay the fucking music stuff that they got was cheap. His music would sell the movie. The movie would sell the music.
Sell the music. Yeah, it was perfect.
Colonel Parker cut every fucking corner because they could get the back end of the movies. Yep. And it was cheaply done. Okay, let's just put Elvis with a bunch of hot chicks. Let's get, he wasn't getting the best songwriters anymore. He wanted the cheapest that put shit out and that he could get enough to sell. And that's how he became a star. So my mom knew this. So this was still in my household. But when I was in high school, the same cousin that got me into Kiss when I was younger had another cousin. Of course, his name is George, like me. And I went to see him, and he had some high school music course, and he had Elvis Gold Hits CD, the 2-volume CD set.
Yeah, I remember it.
Oh, yeah. I
have it here. And he was like, I had to take a music course. He's like, you don't understand what an impact Elvis was. And he played Suspicious Mind. Now, as every kid grew up, we all know.
Love it.
We all know what Hound Dog, Jailhouse Rock, I knew this stuff. When he played Suspicious Minds for me, it blew my mind that this was another part of Elvis. I bought that CD set when I was in high school. I have never been like more impacted by music than that. I bought every fucking Elvis CD. I used to go to Tower Records in Boston.
Yeah.
Every time and scour any new Elvis release. And back in the 90s, you remember, compilations are coming out, but I couldn't, there was no internet. I didn't know something was coming out, but I would go to Tower Records constantly and scour through the Elvis section. Like, I have all these.
Yeah, and you got to realize at that time, even though CDs were already out, then I remember exactly when you're talking about, because I remember when the new versions of Aloha from Hawaii and
got 'em.
And then what's the one with Elvis on the front in the satellite?
Aloha from Hawaii, the big 70, but they also did an alternative version where he did the concert before that. The big TV show. He did a concert of that, like a what do you call it? Show, like a fucking
variety show.
Before you do a show, sound check. Like he did a sound check of the whole, and that became an album. I bought that too.
Yeah, but they released Madison Square Garden around that time.
Oh, that fucking 72 concert.
That's awesome.
I bought you that, Tom. I think for Christmas.
I have it.
I bought you that. I'm like, you got to check this out.
It's amazing.
I do remember what you're talking about in the 90s when all that stuff came out, because I was really excited.
And I was just overwhelmed buying Elvis. I bought Elvis movies. I would tape all the movies. I would watch them. And then I found myself being like, hold on, I fucking like these songs. I know they're like Broadway type show tunes, but they're fucking catchy. And I'd be like, I know it's not rock and roll, but there's some stuff I liked.
Yeah.
I just never could get enough.
In there. Like, for example, I think Girl Happy is full of so many great Elvis songs.
No, you didn't say that. I fucking love that. That's my fucking deep cut Elvis movie. I love that fucking movie. Oh, my God. I can't believe you brought up Girl Happy. Holy
That's my favorite Elvis movie.
Yeah, with the chick from used to be on Coach, Shelley Fabara. She did like a few of his, she did 3 of his movies.
Yep.
Right?
She did.
And she also sang that song, Johnny Angel. which is a big
Oh,
hit in the 60s.
I did not
That
know
was
that.
her. Yes, yes.
Oh, wow.
Girl Happy, never mind the title track,
Yep.
has got a few good songs there that
Great
are
song.
just really deep cuts. Go ahead.
And even the song that the girls are singing in the convertible when they're driving Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, yes.
You know, I love that stuff.
So they did a thing called double feature, which were Elvis CDs, like movies, soundtracks on 2 CDs.
yeah.
That started coming out. So there's a Girl Happy, Harem. They call it Harem Holiday, but it's that other one, fucking Harem Scarum.
Yeah.
But in that, where the girls are singing, and then it tracks back to Elvis and the one, the Bing Crosby kid that his dad used to beat the shit out of him. Remember, Tom? We always joke about that.
Absolutely.
Bing Crosby's kid, Gary Crosby. And
right.
and they're singing in the car. Then it goes to the girl singing in the car, and then they're singing in the car. Fucking love it.
I love
See,
it.
now you're scaring me because I know we got to get this thing in, and it's a little tight. But you're absolutely right.
I said this.
I'm
I
looking
said,
at the soundtrack.
Ryan. I said
Meanest
this was
Girl
going to
in
happen.
Town
I
is a
said.
song
I
like.
said this was going to get happen when we
That's
got.
the one.
I said this was going to happen when we got started talking about Elvis.
You remember that
I'll
song,
stick-
Meanest Girl in
I will
Town?
stick to the script. I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
no.
But that's the one track I want to remind you. Remember Meanest Girl in Town?
Yep.
I fucking love that. And then I was joking to Tom, and I sent him a thing. I'm like, look how awesome this is in 6-8 Comeback. And then I texted him the other night. I'm like, look at this. And it was Do the Clam.
Oh,
Do the clam. Yep.
it's so
Do
good.
the clam.
Yeah.
So good.
Grab your backwards baby by the hand.
That's so good.
And he's doing this thing with his hands. And just,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the fuck?
So good.
Oh, cheesy.
So good.
Oh, anyway, when I got into 68 Comeback Special, there were a couple different in the 90s, like in 2000s. I would catch late night on TV specials. One of them was, they called it One Night with You, Elvis. And it was that section of the 68 Comeback Special, which was basically the unplugged version. Him and his band.
In the
his
round.
original band. Yeah.
In the round,
But
yeah.
at that time, they called it the TV special. They called it One Night with You, Elvis. And it was that special. And it's him, his original guitarist, Scotty Moore, his original drummer, DJ Fontana, and a few others. And it's just rock and roll at its best.
Oh, it's
And-
outstanding.
And so along the way, anytime there was a reissue, I would buy it. Anytime there was a deluxe, I mean, I probably had 5 versions of this. Tom's holding up one as well.
I had to buy a used version of the vinyl because it's the remastered 180 gram has been out of print forever. It's gone. So I had to buy this on eBay. This is almost like an original pressing. It's all beat up. It didn't cost a lot because it's not in great shape, but I had to have it in my collection.
I love it.
Yeah.
There's a 50th anniversary 5-disc special that I'm trying to find. Okay. It's fucking $500 if you want to buy new CDs.
My gosh, I'm sure it is.
Right.
And I'm just waiting for like something to be like $4.98. Fuck it, I'm buying it.
That's right. I'll take it. It's on sale.
Yep.
So 68 Comeback Special. The main cover, we're going to talk quickly about. We do album covers. Tom, what do you think? Album cover.
I mean, I guess I don't know if you have to like Elvis to like this cover, or maybe you just have to like pop music and rock music and celebrity. This is unbelievable, this cover. It's so simple, but it's all you need to know. He's got a white suit, white shoes, standing in front of what looks to be like the most. I mean, the only other band who would do this would be Kiss.
Yep.
That's it.
Where do they get this from?
This is Kiss.
Exactly.
This is Elvis being Kiss before Kiss.
Do you not see why I love them both? But go ahead, Ryan.
Ryan, what do you? Go ahead.
Oh, exactly. Same thing. And you know what the cool thing is Elvis looks so great in that suit, but having his name lit up in red like that in the back just makes the whole scale of everything seem larger than life.
Great point. Yep.
You know?
Which is him.
It's like because he's obviously way in front of it and it's behind him.
Yep.
But it just gives the scale of like what you're about to what you're about to hear. It's just like you're impressed before you've even heard it.
And the other thing I love about it too is that it's an action shot of his eyes closed and him wailing into the microphone. You know, it's not like a pose or like it's a candid action shot. You know,
that's like the If I Can Dream shot, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's If I Can Dream.
Yep.
That's the suit he's wearing at the end.
Yep.
The Elvis sign, it's just Kiss. It's
Kiss.
like bigger, larger than life. Who else can put that up there other than I'm thinking like maybe Prince?
Yeah.
You could be like Prince in big letters like that.
Maybe.
You know exactly that this God is on stage doing this. Like there's only a few people in music that can pull that off.
Yeah, there was one Zeppelin tour where they had Led Zeppelin in the huge letters.
Oh, that's right. That's
like
yep.
You know, but
and the funny thing I love, the thing I love about this cover too, it's like we know who he is.
Absolutely,
it's not like he needs this sign, you know.
Yeah,
but it's
it
like
could have just been him in the suit.
Exactly, but he's like, no, I'm fucking Elvis.
And
just to remind
you, comeback. It's a comeback.
Exactly. Yes,
it's a kick in the nuts to tell him. Yep. It's a kick in the nuts to tell everybody I'm still the fucking man.
Yeah,
nobody else can pull this off. It's just me.
Yep.
And that's fantastic. So
it's interesting that that we all believe that, and like I said, I wasn't there, but I've done so much homework like you guys. It's interesting that while we still believed without question that he was the man, he did not believe that.
Yes.
I know. That is crazy.
He was second guessing himself, and time had passed, and he's like, do I still got it? And then, you know, we'll see when we talk about this. But so I'll give you a quick couple facts. 68 comeback special. It was released in December of 68. It went up to number 8 on the Billboard. It made it to platinum. And basically recorded in June 20th through the 30th in 1968. It's got a variety of stuff on it. So it's got some of his studio recordings of these songs, some of the live recording of these songs, and some of the like the acoustic set, some of the other you know, where he stands up and sings to the crowd.
The actual productions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's got a variety of stuff.
Yeah.
I think if you can find this right now, it's called Memories. It's it's a double disc version of this album. Yeah. This has a lot of the stuff that's missing on this album. Okay. I can tell you there's a bunch of stuff that should be on there that's not on here that would have made this even better, but they went with these as the tracks, and that was their decision. That's fine. Right. You ready to get started, Tom?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Ready. So track 1, here we go.
So we start off with a medley, and this album is primarily medleys, but we start off here with Trouble and Guitar Man.
Yep.
And right out of the gate, so if you're not an Elvis fan, or if you're like I love Elvis, but I don't listen to him all the time. And when you think of Elvis, you think of the hits and stuff.
Right.
This is the stuff that I really gravitate to with Elvis. This kind of stuff. Because I think this right here is a really, for me, an underrated aspect of his vocals. Like everybody knows, like, you know, Hound Dog and Heartbreak Hotel and Jailhouse Rock and, you know, Blue Christmas and that type of vocal styling. But when he's like wailing and getting like nasty and like really into it, it's just, it's so badass. And I love how it transitions into Guitar Man and, you know, that big band. It's what his band is doing. It's big band, it's jazz, it's rockabilly, it's rock. There's so much going on that he comes in and just takes over. And what a way to kick off an album. I mean, I love this stuff. I love this kind of Elvis right here, Ryan.
Oh, me too. Me too. And it's like the cool thing about the track Trouble is if you didn't know Elvis or you did know Elvis, that song to me was kind of like a message, because you know what? Everybody thinks that rock stars are supposed to be dangerous, and you know, rock stars should kind of think that they are dangerous sometimes, you know, but it just had so much attitude, and I loved it. And just the way the instrumentation was in that song, da 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 da, you know, those are and then statement, da 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 da, statement. And he would say it. It was so much attitude. And then you said about his voice, I'm going to go on record as saying that I think this was the absolute best that Elvis's voice ever sounded.
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
He had that throatiness, and then when he really went for it, like when you were talking about, I mean, it it just did something to you. I mean, I can you could feel it.
Yeah.
And just the attitude and the conviction he sang with was amazing. And then I've always loved Guitar Man. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Guitar Man come back at the end?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yep.
He added extra lyrics that were not in the original Jerry Reed song.
I was going to say the happiest person in the world that song appeared twice in the special is Jerry Reed because
he made a shit ton.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Now I will tell you. So Guitar Man, Trouble and Guitar Man, Jerry. This is a Lieber and Stoller track. So if anybody knows rock and roll music, you know Jerry Lieber is and Mike Stoller are legendary songwriters of some of the biggest classic rock and roll songs of all time. It is not a coincidence that they have probably like 5 or 6 songs on there that Elvis went to.
Right. Yeah.
Trouble is from probably his best movie, King Creole, when he gets up there and he sings the song. And he sings the song to Walter Matthew, who's the gangster, and he's the bus boy, and he says, "You're looking for trouble. You look at my face." It's just
so good.
It almost sounds like Eddie Murphy and we gotta
win this race.
Yeah, totally does.
Right? Yeah. You're looking for trouble. You're in the right place. But it is. If you know that movie, you know that that's a badass scene, that he's a fucking punk in that movie. It was a movie that was going to be fucking James Dean was supposed to star in before he died. Yeah. So it was that was the type of movie he wanted to do. Unfortunately, he came back and blew Hawaii, blew out everything. And so they're like, no, that's the fucking movies you're going to make.
Yeah.
And so he sings this. But what I like is if you watch the special, when you open up, this is the NBC TV Special. Mind you, they called this Elvis, the album. Then it became the NBC TV Special. Then everyone knows it's a 68 comeback special. But it's technically called Elvis. But anyways, the camera is panned right on his face.
Yep.
He's not the young guy anymore. He's a not middle-aged, but just like a man.
He's a man.
He's not the boy. And it's right on his face, and he sings it right into the camera. And then when it pans out, and Guitar Man starts, and he's got the fucking red guitar, and then you got the background guys doing all sorts of shit, and he's singing the Jerry Reed song. What I love about this story, I don't know if you know this, Tom, but he's going to record Guitar Man, Jerry Reed's song, and he's like, you guys can't do it in there. And they're like, fuck it. Find Jerry Reed, fly him into the studio, and he's going to play the guitar on Guitar Man. And he did. And he played it on this. The big thing about then is like Parker wants the publishing rights for anything he fucking does.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why Elvis had problems getting songs and stuff. Yep. And the good songs says anybody that would write a song, it's like, yeah, I'm taking publishing from you.
Yeah. So everybody wanted an Elvis cut, so many people went along with it.
Yeah, because they're like, fuck it, Elvis is singing my song. So,
good for Jerry.
But anyways, it gets that close up of him, and then it backs out, and Elvis is singing Guitar Man. Yeah. Now, what I love about this is this is the NBC comeback special. Yeah. He's not coming in with Jailhouse Rock. He's not coming in with Hound Dog. He's coming in with a new rock song.
Yep.
And it's rock for him because he was just singing fucking Do the Clam fucking 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And fucking old McDonald had a farm. Like fucking Jesus. But anyways, he's coming back singing this song. And he has a man's voice. Yeah. He has the most masculine Elvis voice of his career. Not that he didn't have it all the way to the end. Yeah. But the way he's singing this song and the way the fucking camera's on him. Yep. And then there's that one scene at the end where he fucking belts out that last verse. And you fought that crowd of people you want on the dance floor.
Yeah,
and the
so
camera's
badass.
Backing out. Yeah. And you can see him on top of this fucking enormous Elvis sign up there singing. I just think this guy, Steve Binder, who produced this, is a fucking genius. Yeah. Fucking genius. It just, if that's not saying the king is back with Elvis belting this new song out on the fucking giant Elvis on all your TV screens, seeing this big Elvis thing, you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. I still get chills just talking about it. It is so fucking awesome. And it's just like when you see your team win the Stanley Cup or your team fucking win the World Series. Yeah. It's like, my guy is back and he's the balls right now.
No,
right?
I love it. It was just so strong. It was such an impact, you know. It still is. It still is.
Yep.
Yeah. And, for all the shit, I kind of went through this track about his movies. You got Trouble, you got Can't Help Fall in Love, you got Jailhouse Rock, you got Love Me Tender, you got Little Egypt. All these songs are soundtrack songs.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know they get shit. It's kind of like Kiss in the 80s, Elvis in the movies. There's some good shit in there.
There is.
Yep.
There actually, I agreed 1,000,000%. Yeah. I'm with you.
So, anyways, that's track 1. We're blown away. See if this will blow you away. Track number 2, Tom.
So track 2, again, another medley. This is a big one here. This is about 15 minutes long here.
It is.
So you start out with Lordy, Lordy, Miss Claudie. Then you got Baby, What You Want Me to Do. Then he talks a little bit. Then you get back into a hits medley of Heartbreak Hotel, Hound Dog, All Shook Up. And then he kind of wraps it up a little bit more with Can't Help Falling in Love, Jailhouse Rocks, talks a little bit more, Love Me Tender. Great stuff. All spliced from a couple different dates and a couple different times from the recording. So, but this to me right here. So the thing that sticks out to me is there's 15 minutes of music here, and it's his classics, which everybody loves.
Yep.
But I really found myself just so captivated by his dialogue.
Yep.
Like just and even though there wasn't that much of it, just like I'm just like, because we're so used to like Paul Stanley like being like people.
Yeah.
And Elvis is like talking about music. Like, this is what I like. This like. I went to a show and the police came and I couldn't do this and and then you add, I had it with my finger, and then you just mix it in with all these different songs, his hits, the classics, and just being in that circle with those musicians and just the joy. You can hear the enjoyment of him, his band, and the crowd. I just absolutely love this one, Ryan. Yeah,
me too. And like I said, I'm going to go back real quick and say this again. And this medley is a really good example of it. I think this was the strongest Elvis's voice ever was.
I agree. Yeah.
It was just amazing. So his singing was outstanding. The song selection for this alone is what I like to refer to as a black eyes set.
Yep.
And by that I mean there are so many hits in the set that when it's over, you have black eyes. You just like, hit.
Yep.
That's what I felt like this medley was. Lottie, Lottie wasn't a big, but it doesn't matter. It's the sum of all the parts. Because he did have Hound Dog and Can't Help and all that stuff in there. But do you remember? So it's not just the song selection and the performance, which is an A+.
Mm-hmm.
If you saw that special that came out on HBO last year. There's some footage on there that I'd never seen. It was at the very beginning when he gets announced by Steve and he comes out and he's standing there by himself in the suit holding the mic, and it's not going on. It's not happening. And he goes, "Somebody do something, Steve. This is getting embarrassing." He's irritated. He's not confident. He's whatever. Then the minute you put the guitar in his hand and get those guys around him, all of a sudden he becomes more relaxed and very confident.
Yeah.
And it's a great showcase of the band members. Their playing's great, but the banter that you said, the dialogue in between Elvis and the band members, and the laughing,
yes,
and the company they were. And remember, he goes, "Yeah, wait a minute, something wrong with my lip." Remember, he said that? He goes,
yeah.
Did that for 29 movies, baby. Remember? And the thing was, it's kind of weird. If you were part of the Memphis Mafia or his band, you probably kind of felt like it was your job to laugh at everything Elvis said. But this was genuine.
Yeah.
This was genuine.
Yep.
Smiles were real, and nobody was faking it. And it just, what a way to kick it off, man.
Yeah. It's great.
When we're done with this, I'm going to go watch it again.
Good.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
So I will say this. All these songs, I'm not going to go through all the songwriters. There'd be too many of them to go through.
Yep.
So Lottie Miss Claudia is an old, like 50s fucking classic rock song. What's great, if you watch the special, it's Scotty Moore, who, if you always notice Scotty Moore in his early movies, he's always in the band, and you watch his early footages on Ed Sullivan. He is a legendary guitar player. He's one of the innovators of the guitar, right? In guitar rock.
Yeah.
Scotty Moore, if you watch the special, Elvis goes, "This guy has never said shit to me on stage." And the first time ever, he says to me, "Would you please play that Lottie Miss Claudia song?" That's why Elvis played it. Because he's like, they just fucking love. This is him and his bandmates playing what they fucking want to play.
You know what?
And you can tell.
It's dudes in a band hanging out.
Exactly. Yes.
Right? If you
That's
and
it.
your best fucking friends were just hanging around having beers and just having your guitars with you, jamming to shit, you're going to play. It's going to be natural. It's just love of music. And him playing Lottie Miss Cloudy and the way he sings and his voice just hits these notes. And there's goddamn passion that which you cannot fake that he has singing these songs all the way through. I will tell you, I have almost every Elvis recording. I've seen all this stuff. I have all this stuff. I will say these are the definitive versions of all these hits for me. If I want to hear Jailhouse Rock, I want to hear the 68 Comeback Special, him singing it. If I want to hear Love Me Tender, I want to hear it. Now, you guys, well, Tom, you're not really that familiar with Elvis. This is Elvis. He does these silly things throughout the song. This is his personality. He loves to just shoot the shit. He loves to say, "You have made my life a wreck." I mean, complete.
I love that.
He loves to do that. He constantly saying that. He talks about splitting his pants in the Aloha. Remember when he's singing, I think it's Suspicious Mind. In the middle of the song, he's like, I'm about to split my pants.
Split out, baby.
yeah, exactly. That's his personality. You're a beautiful audience. Thank you.
No, I think he said, I think this suit just ripped out, baby. I think he said suit.
Yeah, something. But he's always been like that. He's jovial. You get to see his personality. It's not hidden. This is his fun, loving self. And he's with his boys and he's comfortable and and you can tell. And just the performances. First of all, I'm not a big fan of Heartbreak Hotel, the song. The version he does on this is incredible.
Yeah.
It's a haunting kind of fucking like ballady song, the original. This is a badass rock version.
Yeah, it's
and
amazing.
it fucking works. I mean, he almost makes Hound Dog sound good, and I can't stand that fucking song.
No, I know. And you know,
All Shook Up is a fantastic version. And
Very
he's up
cool
there
version.
dancing, moving, gyrating, fucking kind of moving his legs and doing all sorts of shit. Can't Help Fall in Love sounds great. Jailhouse
You
Rock.
Can't Help Falling in Love. One of the things that I particularly love about that version is the strings and the horns that accompany the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it
Yes,
just
the
sounds
orchestra.
It's whole next level because you got to also understand, you guys, him being in the service all that time, as popular as he was when he left for the service, the production of his shows was nowhere near what we're seeing.
Right.
Right. And it just took, there wasn't horns and string sections and all this background singers, before the Jordanaires started coming and everything. It wasn't there yet. So to hear the songs played like this with the addition of stuff like that, beefing up the track, was just amazing.
Yeah, he didn't have that. He had this regular band, and he was doing the movies, and he left. And they were releasing tracks because he recorded shit like Stuck on You and stuff while he was in the Army. But when he came back, he did that one special live performance in Hawaii, some fundraiser, right? In 60, when he got back from the Army, he did the Frank Sinatra special.
Right.
And it was movies.
Frank Sinatra.
That's it. And it went right to the movies. He didn't do one more live performance. So hearing these songs, and now you got this version of these songs with the orchestra and stuff and these beautiful medleys in the background. Oh, my God, it fucking works. And even Love Me Tender, the way he sings it. And
It's great.
Love Me True.
Yeah.
Oh, my. The way he phrases it, too.
His phrasing was great. You know what else? And let's just state the obvious.
Yeah.
Sounded great. Played great. Voice was amazing. All the stuff like that and his sense of humor that he put in everything. It's so contagious to see something like that.
Yep.
But he was so darn handsome, man.
I'm not
my
afraid
God.
to say it. They say he was the sexiest man of all time in that performance.
And to see someone who doesn't look like Elvis act the way he did, it's still contagious because everybody loves to feel good and the icing on the cake is having him look like that.
You couldn't take your eyes off of him.
He was never better looking than that.
In addition
He was
to being
chiseled,
like that. Yeah.
Yep.
in great shape, fucking leather suit.
And he had his
God.
his new sideburns that were looking killer.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Yeah, they
He just
weren't
got
those
hot.
big lamb chops.
He just got a new black dye job and was looking good.
Yep. He looked at it's a great point. He looked at you couldn't take your eyes off of him.
No.
Yeah, I will agree with you, Ryan. I would say he was, like I said, there were people who were saying he was the sexiest man of all time singing that. Name me another person that could perform those songs the way he did in front of that small audience in that leather suit and look as cool and just like men, like I'm a man, and
Yeah.
a pretty straight one as far as I know. And there's nothing crazier and badass than him grabbing that mic. Well, since my baby left. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah,
That's the ultimate.
Insane.
true performer.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
There's more tracks, so let's go to track 3.
So we got a little bit of a gospel medley here. We got some dialogue at the beginning of this one, and then we have Where Could I Go But to the Lord, Up Above My Head, and Saved.
Yep.
So again, more dialogue that I love here from Elvis, kind of talking about the roots of music, and I like how he kind of, it's like he kind of introduces a change in what's going to be played, and kind of talks about it's rooted in gospel and rhythm and blues. And, again, I love this aspect of Elvis. Yeah. He can blow the doors off with just rockabilly, but then when he does the gospel, I mean, he has, we talk about all these different things with Elvis, his looks, his sound, his charisma, but his voice is just so friggin' powerful and so unique in such a great way. And for him to be able to carry these types of things, like, Where Could I Go But to the Lord? Just the music along with that vibe of his voice, and then Up Above My Head. And I'm sorry, Saved.
Oh God. Yeah.
Because he used to lie, cheat, and step on people's feet. Like, like I used to do the hoochie coo. Like,
smoke,
used to smoke and drink.
Smoke, drink, dance, do the hoochie coo, cuss, fuss, and boogie all night long.
And then lie, cheat, and step on people's feet. Just it's I love it. I fucking love it.
That's a Lieber Stoller song, right?
I don't know that.
No coincidence.
No, but it's fantastic, Ryan, when he does the gospel stuff.
It's amazing, and I like how you addressed when before the medley starts, he addresses that he's aware that music in the scene has changed since he's been gone.
Yes,
and he says, I really like the Beatles and the Beards and.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. I always cringe at that. It's the Birds, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And the Beards. I'm like, what the hell? Like, and he gets it. I think he knows. He's like, whatever.
Yeah. But he talked about rock and roll basically being R&B and gospel roots and all that kind of stuff. Man, to me, and I do love this whole medley. When I listen to this particular track, man, these songs sound like Broadway productions to me, like the way you would hear music if you went to see a Broadway production.
Yeah.
And the arrangements to me are the same way.
It's a great point.
I mean, for whatever reason, the bass player on this thing just stands out to me so much. The way the bass play. But it's funny because this is gospel music, but it sounds so. If music sounded like this when I was a kid, I would have gone to church a lot more.
Yeah, right.
That I could hear music like this, Yep. But I'm with you. When he finally gets the Saved, and the whole lie, cheat, step on people's feet, and smoke, drink, and dance, and hoochie coo. I think cuss, fuss, and boogie all night. Yep. I mean, just all that stuff. It's like, this is the hand in glove song to Trouble. He just went from Trouble to this song.
Right, right. Yeah, it's a great point.
I love that line.
And,
cussing, boogie all night long.
And that's when he started doing that. Like, do you remember in 72, much later when he was doing the international and all that stuff?
Yeah.
He all in between verses, and he went, ha, ha, ha. You know that thing? He does it a lot. He does it a lot in Saved.
Yes, I love it. It sounds awesome.
Yep. I love it. That's a great track.
So Where Could I Go About to the Lord was on a lot of different Elvis tracks. So I knew it before I watched the special because it's been on a bunch of different. He's recorded a few times. It's a very popular gospel song. What I feel is, when Elvis is like, well, basically rock and roll music is gospel and rhythm and blues.
Yeah.
As he says that, each one of these songs is moving closer and closer and closer. It's almost like evolution from gospel to rhythm and blues to fucking rock and roll. Like Saved is rock and roll.
Yep.
And absolutely. I think that's such a beautiful way. Like, that's why I'm like, Steve Binder is a fucking genius. Yeah. And even the production, if you watch the special, he's dressed differently. He's got these wannabe supreme singers with him. You know, even the beginning, if you watch when the lady is saying, I feel like a motherless child, and you're watching the guy dance and spin, and you're kind of like moved by it. You're like, okay, what is this? And then the music starts, and then Elvis is just snapping his fingers like this cool, and 3 other ladies follow him, and they're all walking down the stairs. I'm waiting for one of them to wipe out, but they walk down the stairs, snapping their fingers, and then all the dancing's going on. And when it breaks down, even above my head, it's beautiful. The backing vocals on it are fan-fucking-tastic. And then when he gets to save, I used to smoke, drink, and dance a hoochie goo. I used to smoke. Oh, my God. The dancers are going nuts. The band is going nuts. And that fucking drummer, whoever that is.
Oh, yeah.
Beating on that big bass drum. Doom, 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 doom. Oh, my God.
That's awesome.
Fucking love it. And it gets you to be like, shit, I never got into gospel music, but I can see why. And you can kind of feel where that transition's coming and what he's saying from that sit down part of the fucking, round table acoustic set. And then it comes to this. Yep. I get blown away. It's just different. And that's the difference in people that don't get Elvis. He can put out country albums. He can put out rhythm and blues album. He can put out a blues album. He can put out a straight rock and roll album. Everything. He had a mixture because he was a child and he grew up in a black neighborhood and he used to go to the black churches to listen to that gospel music and it got in him.
Yeah. You know what?
That's not fake and that's not stealing. That's something he felt.
It was his roots. But, I'm sure someone will come up with an answer to this that's like, oh, well, you forgot about this guy. But I can't think in my life of a white artist that was more embraced by the black music community than Elvis.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
No one had a problem when he was alive. It didn't come till later till Public Enemy started saying shit. And then all of a sudden the artists were like, he appropriated. Are we fucking serious then?
On,
I mean, give me a fucking break.
After the fact,
that's the kind of bullshit.
I'm gonna disagree with that.
We all are. Yeah,
well,
I like Public Enemy, but
but it's gone to that point that he's had so much backlash that even when the Elvis movie came out a few years ago, which is fucking fantastic, by the way, like people started Elvis is okay. It's okay to fucking say Elvis is great. And so if you see like Rolling Stone stuff and articles about greatest musicians or greatest artists or greatest singers, and he's like number 8 or 10, you're like, get the fuck out of here with this shit. There's no one even close to him. Okay? No one's going to fucking Chuck Berry's home. Okay?
Exactly.
Right? So, God bless, I love Chuck Berry. He's unbelievable. But I'm just saying, like, Elvis is in a class of his own. Yeah. All right. Next track, Tom.
All right, so we got another little kind of mini medley here. We got a little bit of spoken word. Yeah, very short. A little bit of spoken word here. We got Blue Christmas and One Night. So we didn't talk about this at the beginning, but originally, Zeus, the idea for this entire thing was for it to be a Christmas special.
Yep.
And Elvis didn't really want that. Elvis didn't really want to sing Christmas carols on TV.
Yep.
But they put this in there, Blue Christmas. Everybody loves it. You can hear the crowd go wild when he sings it. Yep. And then One Night. So, I mean, if I love Christmas music, I love Elvis. So, of course, I love Elvis Christmas music. Yep. One Night is okay. I mean, Blue Christmas is iconic and legendary. But again, I like this. But the thing that sticks out to me, especially because I'm not the super diehard, knowledgeable Elvis guys like you are, both of you, is that I just like hearing him talk about himself and the music and what he's singing. And I just think that really adds a lot to it, Ryan.
Yeah, I do too. I agree with everything you just said. Again, going back to what I said about the first track, I love the banter between him and the band, and
love it.
And even when they're playing and the banner and somebody says, "Play it dirty," you remember that. And it's just like, oh my God, I love this. You can tell they're having so much fun, and you can tell the looseness, not sloppy, but the looseness of how they're playing together that just makes it all work, especially like on Blue Christmas. Yeah. It's got that feel. And that's just like my favorite Elvis Christmas song ever.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And I love it. And, but on One Night, you remember that he wanted a guitar strap?
One, no strap for you.
No.
No strap for you.
Yes, and it just can go right into the song. And I love the fact that just left it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't cut that shit out.
That was the brilliance in all this too, is it could have been so easy for someone who didn't give a shit to cut out all the dialogue, and people think to go like, oh, people don't want to hear him talk. It's like, yes,
they do. I do.
In this moment, they do.
Yep.
And I put that on the producer filming this and knowing. And the other part to this, Ryan, I just want to add is his brilliance of being like, we're not putting mom and pop in here. Fill this fucking audience with young, beautiful women.
Yep.
That's right.
I want this fucking with young people looking. And that's why if you look at the audience, half of them are like, holy fuck, what the fuck is going on here?
They're just completely, they're so in the moment, and the girl, and it's still, you guys, it still makes me smile. Every time he starts something, you just hear every girl scream and go nuts.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
And man, they did that right before when Blue Christmas started,
I know.
And it's like Christmas, it's not even Christmas time in LA, but they don't care. They want to hear Elvis do a Christmas song. I thought that was great.
I love it. And if you watch the movie, did you see the movie yet on Elvis with Tom Hanks? So I love how, like, in the movie they show the fucking extent to which they were hiding shit from Colonel Parker. Yeah. Like, he's like, this is the part where he's going to sing Silent Night, right? Oh, yeah. He's doing that. Yeah. And they fucking run around. And this fucking young producer's like, I know who you are, but, people forgot about you, man. You want to take this back? You got to be you. You got to go back to this shit. And
God bless him.
Yeah. And he's like, no, we'll put a Christmas song. And then Blue Christmas is a fucking rocking kind of Elvis version of it. Now, I don't know if you guys are a big fan of One Night with You. Yeah. I like the song.
It's okay.
Fucking love this version.
Yeah.
He's just nothing left to hold you. And he just fucking, they keep you. Oh, my God. The passion in his voice. Now, I don't know if you know that the original version of the song was One Night of Sin. And he had to change the whole. That's the alternative version. That's the original version of the song. And you can find it online anywhere. I have albums of it. So it's called One Night of Sin. But he was made to put a cleaner version, change it to One Night with You.
I got to check that out.
Nice.
Yeah. And
nice.
It's still a badass version because that voice and the round tape when he's with his buddies. Again, because I think we're kind of leaving that after this part.
Yeah.
Listen to Trying to Get to You.
Yep.
If you listen, if you buy Memories or other versions of the 68 Comeback Special and it has it on it, it is what I'm talking about, like that passion, that rawness, that acoustic raw version of this song, old like rock song, Trying to Get to You. It is the best fucking probably track on this album. It's incredible. I highly recommend it. But anyways, let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Memories, just a straight up recording here. No dialogue, no medley, no nothing here. No. And look, we love Elvis.
Yep.
His voice sounds great. I don't need to hear this song. This is not like we say this a lot when we talk about albums that we review, Ryan.
Yep.
This is not what I wanted from Elvis, put it that way. His voice sounds great, and I understand why it's part of the TV special.
Yep.
But, compared to what we've been listening to so far, it's okay.
Yeah, you know what? I couldn't agree more. I understand that. But that being said,
go ahead.
I try to be a musical optimist. How's that?
That's a great way to look at it. Yep. And I try to do the same.
Yeah. And I know you guys do. I know you guys are.
Yep.
I will tell you though, I thought he sang it great. Is it my favorite Elvis song? No, I don't go play this every day and listen to it like I would in
Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce. That's song?
Right. Oh, that's the one. Oh my God. I'm gonna watch that tonight.
The Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce.
That's it. He sings great on this track. But like I said, being the musical optimist, what I took away from it that I really did love so much was I love the flamenco intro. The flamenco guitar.
Oh yeah, that is cool. Yes.
And it's not just the bar or two. It's a good lengthy one that's just beautiful. And then again, going back, the stuff that always sucked me in on this whole special was just the really lush harp, like an actual harp.
Mm-hmm.
with the string section and the horns that just made everything so huge.
Yeah.
You know,
the production's great. You're
that
right.
was my takeaway from that song was pretty much just the instrumentation and the magnitude of how big. Because, you know, people think that amplifiers and drums are the things that make things huge. Man, go to an orchestra sometime, like a full orchestra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen to that, man. And that's what that felt like to me. But like I said, with the harp, the string section, and the drum, or and the horns, it's just, I just think it's a beautiful piece.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
So Memories was a single. It was the second single they released from this, a ballad.
Oh.
It went to number 35 on the Billboard chart. It's a Mac Davis song.
It sounds like a Mac Davis song. No. I'm just saying it is.
Was it in the Ghetto Mac too?
He was in North Dallas 40 with Nick Nolte.
Yeah,
Sure was.
Yeah.
Wasn't in the Ghetto Mac Davis too?
I think so. He did a few songs with Elvis. Yep.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
So in the special, he's playing with his buddies, and then he puts the guitar down and walks and sits on the stairs and sings this song live to the audience.
Yes.
What we get here, and this is the mixture of this album, is you get the version of him in the studio recording.
The studio
the
version.
live version with the audience is better.
Okay.
You'll find the mixture of that. And then when you buy things like this, like the Memory CD, you'll get the studio version, which is the album track version. And then you'll get the live version, which you're like, oh yeah, this is so much better.
Yep.
It's kind of like, hey, you can get the live version of Cold Gin, or you can get the fucking debut album of Cold Gin. Which
Right.
one do you want to hear?
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's what you're kind of getting.
That's a good
All right.
example.
Great
Yeah.
point.
So let's move on to the next one. We're almost done.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can hear it in Ryan's voice. We got another medley here, and this is the ultimate badass medley here. We got Nothingville, Big Boss Man, Guitar Man, Little Egypt. Then we come back around for some more Trouble, some more Guitar Man. This, to me, is, I mean, first of all, Nothingville, the way that band sounds, just that groove, that is like funk rockabilly right there, like that bass line in his voice and the way those drums are coming in, and then how it shifts gears. And Guitar Man and Trouble are just so badass, and I love that we get to hear it again. And I just absolutely love this medley, Ryan. This is just so great.
Me too. And you were talking about the instrumentation, man. You know what really, and it grabs you from the very top of Nothingville is that killer harp intro. That harmonica.
Yes. Yeah. Again. Yeah.
And,
I love it.
And if you find on this medley, the harmonica is really heavily featured throughout this entire medley of this song.
Yep.
On different songs. But I think there's a line in Nothingville.
That's from Tommy Morgan, if you needed to know.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't know if you know who he is.
The harp player was Tommy Morgan?
Yeah.
The harp or the harmonica?
The harmonica.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And I guess he's one of the greatest harmonica players in the world, playing over 500 movies.
Okay.
He's
outstanding on here. And one thing I really like about this song, I think the lyric is rat race at a snail's pace.
Yes. Yep. That's it.
I mean, how?
That's another one of those we got to win this race vocals. Nothingville.
Snail's pace. Yeah. It's great. I know.
Elvis, where are we? We're in Nothingville.
Yeah. And then what about when he comes out of Nothingville and it goes into that really weird carny voice intro? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. What? I don't. Can you guys explain that to me? Because I don't know what that is.
This is part of the problem. The part of the and they actually talk about in that documentary that just came out. These are sketches. So there was way more sketches. Elvis was getting annoyed with the fucking sketches of him singing to people. Although the way he's singing to some of these women are fucking smoke shows and his stuff. And he didn't like that. And they were transitioning stuff. And it was like a cowboy saloon thing. And you have that cowboy piano, whatever. Yeah. And then it goes right into him going up to a guy that looks like Peter Grant from Led Zeppelin. Big Boss Man.
Oh, I love that. The Big Boss Man. Yep.
Yeah. We got no room around here for a guitar, man. He takes Elvis's acoustic guitar, breaks it. And he's that gorgeous fucking brunette in that black fucking shiny dress and midriff showing. Oh,
so hot. So hot.
And the thing that was also kind of cool with the weird carny intro on that was, if you remember, the horn arrangement in that part, it reminded me of the beginning of a James Bond film.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes, it did.
The way they had those stacked, you know, it was great. But
that was
I
good.
think I also think right after that, wasn't this a different arrangement of Guitar Man?
Yes, I think so.
So at the last part, so he does Trouble and he does the second verse of Trouble. Then he does a little bit of Guitar Man, and then he comes back again with he does Guitar Man. Then he goes into Little Egypt.
Little Egypt's next.
He does Trouble and Guitar Man again. He comes back around.
And
and
Guitar
does it
Man,
again.
the last part, he brings out a whole new lyric. Well, I haven't really learned anything yet, so I think I'll start on over, right? And he just, that's not part of the original track song. So they just added that.
Right.
See, now, and like I said, I hate to be a pushover and go, oh, I love everything he does, but I feel like I do. I feel like I do. But this medley, the way you were talking about the last song, Little Egypt was always kind of a head scratcher for me.
Loved it.
Yeah,
I fucking love it. It's still a Lieber and Stoller song. It's fucking sexy, I think. Yeah. Little Egypt wearing nothing but a button and a bow. Oh yeah, it's fucking. I love that shit.
It's cool.
I can see it's. Do you mean like it's a head scratcher in general, or a head scratcher within this particular medley?
It wasn't a big hit for him.
Yeah, in this particular medley, it was.
Yeah,
just,
I can see that. I see
that. I'm not
that.
saying it's bad. It's just weird. It's like.
Yeah, it doesn't fit.
Like if they were like, "Hey, put together some songs for a medley in here," I can promise you that's not one of the songs I would have put in that medley. But what do I know? He's Elvis and I'm not. So there you go.
It's like 1980, and they're doing a medley, Tom, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the medley, Kiss puts in "Love 'Em, Leave 'Em." You're like, all right, I like this, but where the fuck did that come from? In between Love Gun. Fucking Detroit Rock City is Love 'Em and Leave 'Em. You're like, okay.
It goes Love Gun, Detroit Rock City, King of the Mountain. What?
Oh, here we go. Nice.
What's that doing in here? But don't you? I mean, for me, I love the sketches.
Yeah.
That get kind of cut off. You see, Elvis is kind of like, all right, I'll act through this shit. He's got gorgeous women around. Now, there's another great song, and I'll tell you, these are, if you buy the fucking different versions, they do Let Yourself Go.
Yeah.
If you know that movie, I think it's from Speedway. It's him and it's Nancy Sinatra in that movie. Nancy Sinatra. So when this
your smoke show.
The sketch in the 68 comeback special, the two women come out and sing this song to him in the beginning, and they trade off lyrics, a black woman, a white woman, and they push him in a chair and they're just singing it it's the sexiest fucking scene.
Oh, it's great.
And they're singing it to him, and then Elvis sings the second verse back to him on Let Yourself Go. It is fucking like, woo, damn. It's fucking awesome, but it's not in here. The other thing that's missing in here too is It Hurts Me. I don't know if you know that song. Fucking love. That's a beautiful deep cut by Elvis. That's not in here, and that would have been fucking incredible. But again, there's so much shit that's already in there. Makes this great. I can understand, like, we got to cut something,
right?
And but you're missing a lot of great shit, and this is a great way to fucking almost end the whole album. But we got one more track, Tom.
Oh yeah,
that's right. If I Can Dream, and this is where you got the white suit and one of the you would really, really have to be trying hard to not say that this is one of the great vocal performances that you've ever heard by Elvis or maybe by anybody. The power, the passion, the energy, the emotion, when he hits that last verse and he brings that song home. I mean, I get goosebumps like talking about it, but hearing it is one thing, but watching him do it is just, oh man, it's like fucking A, this is music right here. This is what it's all about. This is fantastic.
It was both sonically and visually stunning.
Yep.
You know, and the thing that was, you know, you can corny, whatever. And I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about how people will take what I'm going to say as being corny or whatever. And that's just how I am. But, you know, the lyric, it's a deep lyric. And what a way to close the show, because it's almost like whether you think Elvis moves around too much or you don't think he's that good or whatever, he's a good guy because this is his message of hope
Yeah.
to the world. And
Great point.
That's what I took from it. It's like that's the kind of song that it just, I mean, that's the message of that song.
Yep.
It's cool that he would end on that note, you know, and and again, you talk about his vocal performance. It's just absolutely amazing. And I'll tell you guys, you remember the very last concert that was televised on his last tour right before he died?
Yeah, 77, died a few weeks afterwards.
And when he's sitting at the piano.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and he's singing the Unchained Melody.
And he just, it
The
feels
vocal
like
is insane, but he looks like he needed to be.
he was in bad
a
shape.
barrel.
He was in bad shape, but if you close your eyes, you could picture him looking like he does in this song.
Yeah.
Because his vocal performance was still so good there, you know.
Oh, they always point to that he had his voice right till the
He was
end.
near death, you know. He was, and that was just what a way to go out. But, you know, we can always picture him like this,
That's right.
you know.
So I will tell you though, If I Can Dream.
Yeah.
So there's different stories. The story was that, you know, the Colonel wanted him to end with Silent Night or I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck this. We want you to come up with a song that Elvis wants to write. And they asked the lyricist and the composer to go home and write the song. And they knew about Elvis's fondness for MLK.
Yep.
RFK was just assassinated. And everyone talks about like how to like singers and this and that. They're like, if you want a lesson like on how to sing a song, you need to understand the lyrics. Like you need to feel the song. The way Elvis sang the song, they claim that Elvis should be a songwriter on this because the emotion that he put into it, nobody else could do this song the way he just did it. He believed in it.
Agreed.
His fucking arm movements, you could tell he was just so into it when he kept moving that left hand of his. And
It's like he was winding himself. It's like he's winding himself up.
Yeah.
Evil Knievel.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Elon
yes.
Musk, like he's got a fucking tick that he can't get rid of. He's like, But anyway, the vocals on this, the lyrics on this, the way they end it, and then he puts his head down. Thank you. Good night. And it just ends.
Like he's exhausted. Yeah.
He left it all on the stage.
That's it.
I will tell you, just like I tell everybody, I love Mr. Speed, but go listen to the demo version. The demo version's so much better.
Yeah.
Listen to the live performance of this song.
Yep.
It is better than what's on the tape because what's on the tape is the studio version. Yep. The live performance on this, he hits notes. There's more passion. Or when he hits that part, he goes, "Oh yeah," and I like it. Like there's little earworms that he does in the live performance of the song that is just, oh my God, it blows me away. I fucking can't get enough of it. There's never a time that if I don't hear this, I don't get moved.
Yeah,
it is amazing. The lyrics are amazing. The song is beautiful. And this really meant something to Elvis, and he really wanted to sing a song. And, you know, you can tell it was a great song because fucking the Colonel was supposed to be like, this ain't no Elvis song. What the fuck is this? He didn't want Elvis involved in any of that political shit. He wanted him out of it. White bread, right down the road, America. Everybody loves you. Nobody hates you. So it is just a wonderful way to end this album. Before we just rank the tracks, let's just quickly go down. Tom, thoughts on the album when we close up?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Again, you know, a lot of this, you know, I know the 68 special. I've seen and heard bits of this, but listening to it, you know, like we always do when we prepare for these things, it's just, I think this is such a absolutely brilliant snapshot of everything that we love about Elvis. You know, I know there's a lot of medleys, but sometimes, you know, somebody like me that's got a short attention span, sometimes I don't mind a medley. Yeah. And it checks off all the boxes for everything he does great in his career. It's got gospel, it's got country, it's got rockabilly, it's got some soul, it's got his classics, it's got everything that you would want. It's a great little starter kit for the Elvis fan. And for me, Ryan, you said this 68 comeback special, as a Kiss fan, it reminds me 68 Elvis comeback special is like Kiss in 77 in Houston. Mm-hmm. Like that on the Love Gun Alive 2, like they are the kings of the mountain. They're at the top of their game. It's the best that you're ever going to see them. And for me, you know, kind of the casual Elvis fan, that's what I look at with the 68 comeback special.
That's a perfect explanation of all of it. You know, I'm the same way. If anybody would ever ask me about Elvis And who is this guy? Where do you start? This is exactly where I'd point him.
Yep.
You were talking earlier about rock and country, gospel, R&B, everything. It just showed his versatility as an artist. He was not a one-trick pony. And, he was definitely, I don't care what anybody thinks of the movies. He was a triple threat. He could sing, dance, act.
Yeah.
And he showed all those things in this special. Even though it wasn't like a film, he still had skits to do and go along with. Like you said, he kind of went along with it. But what better way to make a guy go along with skits than to put, a lot of hot girls in it? Okay, I'll do it.
So true.
But no, this is to me A+ Elvis Presley right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Zeus.
I see. I only worry about like, hey, this is a starter kit for people. Like, dude, you're not going to find much better than this.
No, you won't.
So anything you listen, you might be like, oh, this isn't as good as that. But to me, this is Elvis at his peak. All the versions of the songs that are on this are the best versions of those songs.
I agree. 100%.
It's Alive 2. It's everything combined.
Yep.
This is the album. If you want to get into Elvis or listen or start or whatever, but you got to be careful. There's other stuff. I don't know if it's going to be all packed into one album as much as this.
See,
but there's brilliance all around.
This album is confusing in such a way that there are so many different versions.
Yes. That's the hard part.
Someone's going to go out tonight or tomorrow or whatever after they hear this and go, oh, I'm going to go get it. And they'll pick up something and they'll be like,
this isn't it.
this is not what they were talking about.
Right.
So there is a lot to go through, but that's good for us because who doesn't want a lot of Elvis stuff to go through?
I'm telling you, get the Memories version of this album. It's got 2 albums, and it'll have a lot of the live stuff from the actual TV show.
Yeah, I need to do that because I don't have that. So I'm going to pick that up.
Yeah, that's this one.
Oh, wait. I have that.
Listen to side 2.
Oh, yeah.
So if you look,
on the back, he's got the white suit. Yep.
Yeah,
right.
If I Can Dream has got the second version too. It's got both versions.
Okay.
It's got the album and then it's got the live version that's on the TV special. So it's
cool.
Okay.
Cool, man.
All right, guys.
Let's do it tonight.
Perfect. Let's go through the songs. We're gonna rank them from 7 to 1. I know it's kind of weird because you're doing a medley, but Tom, number 7.
So from just right off the bat, I always like to say this. To me, there's only 7 tracks. There's medleys. There's no skips. So even though something has to be at number 7, it doesn't mean it's not bad. I know I may have not had some kind things to say, but I still love the presentation of it. So at number 7, I have Memories.
Okay.
Yep.
Ryan.
I know I'm looking. I would have to go. I'm going to agree. Memories at number 7. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's easy. This is the easiest pick of all this. And again, it's not a bad song. It's just number 7.
Right.
Okay. 6 for me. I'm gonna throw in the Blue Christmas medley.
Okay.
Yep.
I love the Christmas medley, but I'm going to go with that number 6 as well, just because it's too short.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Be longer.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I absolutely love this. And I love the One Night With You version too. But something's got to be there. So this is number 6.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. This is where it gets tough for me now, because these are all just amazing in their own way.
Yeah.
But at number 5, I'm gonna go with the gospel medley. Where could I go but to the Lord up above my head and saved?
I concur.
Same. Yep.
That's mine as well. Yep.
Okay.
As much
Zeus?
as I would love to keep this kumbaya going, I'm going to disagree with you guys. I'm going to go with the medley of Nothingville, Big Boss Man. And all that.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And God knows how much I love it.
I know.
Something's got to be at 5.
Something's got to be there. Okay, number 4. This was a tough one because it is spectacular, but at number 4, I'm putting If I Could Dream.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. At number 4, I'm going to put the Nothingville medley.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. This is where even more it becomes hard.
Yep.
I'll go with gospel.
Okay.
All right, number 3 for me, I'm going to put the first track on there, the Trouble in Guitar Man at number 3.
Right. Oh man. It's between tracks 1 and 2 here for me.
Okay. You can't go wrong. There's no wrong answers.
No, I'm gonna put number one here.
Okay.
And I just want to do a quick reason why I think number one is absolutely amazing. I wish we could have more than one number one.
Yeah.
But there's something that my next one has that this doesn't. So this is going to be yeah.
Okay. Zeus 3.
Number 3 for me, and I know you will be surprised. I'm going with the big medley, the Lottie Miss Claudia all the way down.
Yep.
Okay, that's number 3.
And these are the best versions of these songs. It's just, you know, I'm not going to lie to you. All right, I Can't Help Falling in Love with You is a nice song. It's beautiful, but it's like, hey, I want to hear a Kiss song. Have you heard this song? It's called Love Gun. Yeah, I've heard it. I've heard it a million fucking times. And so a lot of these songs are still the best versions, but I don't need fucking Love Me Tender and Can't Help Falling in Love and fucking especially Hound Dog.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Number 2 for me, you guys had this one way lower. This was almost going to be number 1 for me just because I absolutely friggin' loved it. But at number 2, I'm putting the Nothingville medley. I just thought that was just badass for me.
It is great.
Yeah.
It's great.
What do you got, Ryan?
I'm going to go with If I Can Dream as number 2.
Okay.
I got nothing to say. I love it, but that's my number 2.
Okay. Zeus?
I'll say the same thing, and I'm only penalizing a tiny bit because it's the studio version, not the live version.
Okay. Fair enough.
And then number 1 for me is the big medley that Zeus just mentioned, the Lottie Miss Claudia with all the hits and the big long dialogue and everybody having a grand old time. That's number 1 for me.
Yep. That's for me as well. And the reason it is because what the three of us both agreed on at the beginning of the show. This is the perfect example of guys in a band hanging out, and you get a front row seat on your couch across America to see what kind of guy Elvis Presley is. You see him looking good. You see him comfortable. You see him delivering. You see his sense of humor. You see his self-deprecation. Every single thing. Like I told you, it's like, let's forget what he looked like for a second. Everybody loves those qualities in a person, to see something that makes you feel good. But then you see him in his band, and it's just like, to me, that is, people were saying, well, what is Elvis? Okay, go to this record.
Yep.
But if I go, what is Elvis? I'll go to this performance of this medley.
Yep.
People say that Elvis is just, all he can do is sing. Dude, he's fucking rocking a rhythm guitar in this fucking thing. He knows how to play guitar. And he knows how to pick it up with guitar. Like, he's not a fucking, I don't understand. Give me where do I sing? He can jump in any band and just fucking crank it in a studio with these guys. He is a master in the studio. He knows how to perform and how to turn it on. That's the thing. Now, the other part is, can you remember another time where other musicians got around and did like an acoustic set like this in music?
No.
It wasn't a thing. No. Now, this is like the first Unplugged, MTV Unplugged. I don't remember anybody or hearing about anybody doing shit like this. And somebody came up with the idea to do this, which is incredible. I love that fucking aspect of it, and it's just underrated, and I just wanted to make sure I got that last part out there. All right, number 1 for me is Trouble Guitar Man. To me, there's so many aspects of it that makes it number 1, but the fact that this is the opening, it comes on him. Lights are on. You're back. What are you going to do? Show the world. And he fucking knocks it out of the park. There's never been a time where I can't put this on and I'm like, fast forward. I leave this on. This might be my favorite thing of all time, of all music. It's just the epitome of Elvis in 68. Wow. In that fucking thing. It's just that fucking good. So
it's awesome.
That's Elvis.
Yep. It's awesome.
That's Elvis 68 comeback special. That's Elvis NBC TV special, whatever you want to fucking call it. Before we let you go, we have this. Ryan, what makes you rock hard these days, buddy? Besides Viagra.
We love asking people that. What are you into these days, my friend?
I get it. Well, honestly, man, I'm happy to be touring with Ace. That's always fun.
Yeah.
I love that we're going to be out so much, and that's a great thing. As far as, what I've been digging lately, I love the new Led Zeppelin movie. I went to see it 3 times in IMAX the first week.
We did too. Amazing.
3 times. And I'm going to go see it again in the regular theater. I absolutely love it. I love everything
amazing.
done about it. The only thing to me is it's too short. I wish it was an 8-hour movie.
Me too.
All right.
Me too.
I turned to Tom at one point, and I turned to Tom at one point. I'm like, dude, we're like 2 hours in. They're only on Zeppelin 2. And he's like, it ends here. I'm like, oh, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love that they only had those 4 guys. That's the only 4 voices. I loved it. It wasn't.
It was amazing.
I won't insert names, but it wasn't this guy that you see in every documentary or that guy you see. It was the
Great
4
call.
guys, and I love that. I've done nothing but listen to Led Zeppelin since I went to the showing. I just got me all fired up again. So I love that. And I also, as far as on another page, Jeannie has a new book out. And Jeannie was in Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Her new book just came out. It's been #1 on Amazon. It's called Hooray for Hollywood.
Wow.
Nice.
And she's killing it. So go check that out.
Nice.
And other than that, man, just playing guitar and smiling and being on the road. I love it. That's all.
Awesome. Can't get better than that.
Tom, what about you, man?
Yeah, I'm always looking for a new TV show because sometimes I'll spend a lot of time watching movies or documentaries and stuff. So I was looking for a new TV show, and I don't know how I never got into this. And it's ironic because my son, who's in college, he's like, "Oh, Dad, did you ever watch Dexter?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "How have you never watched Dexter?" So now I've been just binging on Dexter, and it's good for me because now there's like 2 spinoffs.
You've got a lot to watch.
I got a lot to. Yeah, there's the Dexter, then there's the New Blood, or there's like all these Dexter stories. So, I love shows that are not just surface level. Something like Breaking Bad or Sopranos, where like it's character driven. And the guy that plays Dexter is just fantastic. Great cast, great show. It's obviously not for everybody because it gets graphic, it gets nasty. But it's a ton of fun. It's a great show. So that's what I've been spending some time with.
Cool.
Zeus, what about you?
Well, I'm going to continue on an Elvis theme. I watched The Return of the King, The Fall and Rise of Elvis Presley, the documentary about the 68 comeback special. And yeah, you're right. I mean, is there a Elvis documentary without Jerry Schilling, Priscilla, and the usual? But they have some new voices that jump in talking about this.
Springsteen's on it.
Yeah, Springsteen, including Billy Corgan and a few others, and Conan O'Brien, and just random people talking about Elvis and stuff. I enjoyed it because although it wasn't like over the top praise, it did praise him, because I know the new thing is to shit on Elvis. But there was a scene that was kind of like I've never seen in a documentary for Elvis, which I love that they showed it. And there was Jerry Schilling, who was like Elvis's best friend, and in a bunch of these things, with Priscilla watching Elvis sing Old MacDonald in a movie. And they're both like, and Priscilla, who's fucking persona non grata with Elvis fans most of the time, was just like, this is so bad. Look what they did to him. Like, he was so embarrassed. He fucking hated this. Look at this. And they were both like kind of shaking their heads. That to me was one of the most interesting aspects of them seeing like, this is what he did, and then look where he came after. So it's a great documentary. If you're fascinated by this album, you'll want to see the documentary. Yeah,
and in addition, I mentioned this earlier too, what you were saying about Jerry and Priscilla watching that, and you'd never seen that before. Also, the very beginning, I told you guys I'd never seen that part where he's standing there and they're like, "Okay, go." And then he's like, "Oh, we got to start over," and then there's silence. He gets, "What's going on?" He goes, I've never seen that.
That's awesome.
Fascinating shit.
I'm just always, it's really good.
Or the part they said he wasn't coming out.
Yeah.
When they were about to film, he's like, he's not coming out. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I never heard that part, but that's great stuff. Hey, listen, tell us, Ryan, where can we see you, and where can we get some new music of yours?
Let's see.
Rock City Disc 2.
Yeah, you can still get Rock City Machine Company on Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, all that. Rock City Machine Company. I'm going to be on the road with Ace all year. Awesome. Every week I get more dates. Right now we are booked into October.
Wow.
Our next date is next week in Florence, Indiana, so I'm home for a week. And then we take off from there. We're going to be back in Orlando. We're going to be in Wichita. We're going to be in Oklahoma City. We're going to be in West Hollywood. We're going to be everywhere. So, and you two, of course, are always welcome.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
We missed you
Love
in
it.
Tupelo, New Hampshire this summer. Both of us had fucking we're like, oh yeah, we're going. And then last second, you had something, I had something. I'm like, are you shitting me?
Yep.
So we didn't bother even asking.
You guys are right.
So
You guys were right in our neighborhood.
We will see each other again sooner than later.
Definitely.
We
And
hope
of
so.
course, Ryan, you're on all the social media. People can find you on Instagram and all that good stuff, of course.
Instagram is Ryan Cook 1969. Facebook is Ryan Spencer Cook.
You also have
Easy.
those cool like guitar picks and stuff you're selling, right?
I do. I don't have any on
because I
hand
think
right here.
they're fucking cool as hell.
Those are
here's something
awesome,
funny?
dude.
But here's something funny. I did for Valentine's Day for the month of February. I did those pick packs with the hearts in it.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
It's kind of a cutesy picture that's funny with little hearts and stuff.
Yeah.
I see who buys everything.
Oh, no.
More guys than girls.
I love it. Of course.
Shit, I was gonna buy them too. So don't think less of us. Believe me, it's fucking cool as hell. People should look for those. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'll do more.
Awesome.
We love doing stuff like that.
He's Ryan Spencer Cook, Courtney Cronin, Dole, Kulik, Lane, Fraley, Simmons, Tweed.
That's right.
We can't thank you enough, Ryan, for coming on. We love having
course,
you.
man.
You're an awesome guest, and thank you so much for spending time with us, man.
Thank you, guys. I love doing this. Thanks so much for having me.
Ryan, thank you so much. We know you got a tight schedule. We're so honored and thrilled for you to carve out a little bit of time for us to talk some Elvis, man. Good luck. Have a great time on the road. We'll be in touch, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Tom, that was the great Ryan Spencer Cook. But we are not done yet. We have to actually rank the album cover and the album itself. So,
yes,
let's start with the album cover. And why don't you tell everybody your top 5 right now?
Yep. Top 5 album covers for me. At number 5, I have Rage Against the Machine, then Blizzard of Oz, Purple Rain, Master of Puppets, and Diary of a Madman. This album cover is fantastic. I mean, the only thing for me is it's just going to suffer because it's not an album that I've had for a while. I try to incorporate all that into this. But it's friggin' Elvis in a white suit in front of a 15,000-foot sign of his own name. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. It is incredible. And for that, I'm going to give him a top 10 spot on my rankings. I'm putting this at number 10.
Wow. That's great.
I love it. I love it. I mean, it probably should be higher because it's that legendary, but I think a top 10 is good. So,
all right. My top 5 album covers are Peace of Mind, Diary of a Madman, Appetite, Destruction, Blizzard of Oz, Hotel California. This is number 1.
Oh, I knew it. This is like when we reviewed Love Gun. It's like,
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I mean, what do I want me to tell you? It's got everything. It's got it's iconic. The album. I know exactly what this is when I see this. The red lettering in that bright red color and him in the white suit and Elvis in big letters behind him is just, there's so much imagery behind that it just sticks out to me. And it's something I've had this album since high school days. So yeah. So NBC TV Special is number 1 for me. Now let's go to the actual albums, Tom.
All right. Albums itself. Top 5 for me. Number 5, High and Dry. Shout at the Devil, Purple Rain, Moving Pictures, Master of Puppets. So I love this album. I mean, I think it's fantastic. I'm going to kind of grade it on a scale here because it is a live performance album. It's medleys. It's not, your standard album. I do love the performance. So this is very difficult for me to grade because I'd love to rank it like super, super, super high. But I gave it a top 10 album cover. I'm going to give it a top 25 ranking here. So I'm going to put it at 25.
All right. My top 5. Pyromania, Blizzard of Oz, Hotel California, Automatic People, Elvis, number 1. Yeah, it is not even close. This is one of the only things I've ever. No, this is the only album I didn't even need notes. I knew this shit inside out.
Yep.
I listened to this. I never will get sick of this. I love that there's different variations of this album. I hope that this is a fucking starting point for a lot of you guys. And I know I'm going to get, fucking Elvis. What's next? Fucking
anybody
Bo Diddley
who says that. Yeah. The same people who are going to say that will be like, when are you going to review the Bullet Boys sophomore album?
Yeah.
Not here. Not here. If you can't appreciate this album, you don't have to love Elvis. But if you don't like this album or at least admire what it is, then you're beyond what we can do for you.
You can take this album and watch the video. You can watch there's so many different things of this TV special. Like you can watch just
you can watch the documentaries. Yeah.
The documentaries, the fucking acoustic versions, which is about a fucking another hour and a half worth of stuff. You can buy the different versions of these album. You can buy the DVDs. It's a million things. It's a launching point if you get into Elvis. All right. Tom, tell people where they can find us.
You can always go to our website, shoutitoutloudcast.com. If for some reason this is your first time hearing us, we are usually an all Kiss podcast that drop Kiss-related episodes every Saturday, and then we do these album review crew episodes once a month. We also have our weekly Dome Damage episodes where we talk about anything that's going on in the world, and then, of course, we have our Zeppelin Chronicles other sidecast as well, so please check out our website. You can find all of our links there, and, of course, we're very active on social media, and the links for that are also on our website. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, everything is there. Please check us out and follow us. And, of course, you can always send us emails, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. And we always like to say that we're a very proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network of shows.
Yeah, Tom, we like to always end on famous last words. Do you have any?
Oh, yeah, I always have famous last words. I used to lie. I used to cheat. I used to lie, cheat, step on people's feet. I used to lie and cheat, and step on people's feet. Well, now I'm stepping on to glory, salvation in my beat. Because I'm saved. Bitch.
Love me tender, love me sweet.
Oh, how nice.
Never let me go. You have made my life a wreck, and I love you so.
I thought your famous last words were going to be, we got to win this race.
Big boss man. Why can't you hear me when I talk? I don't know how you can do that. Well, Ryan, Spencer, Cook, Tom, Loudcasters, Kiss Army, and the King. Thank you.
Huge thanks to Ryan Spencer Cook for taking time out of his busy schedule to join us. It was awesome. Zeus, great pick. This is exciting to finally get to Elvis. I know you've had this on your mind for quite some time, so I'm glad we got to it. So thank you as always, my friend.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Shout it out loud, yeah. Shout it out loud, yeah. Shout it out loud, yeah. I like it.